Alright, so I had a comment asking about a certain function that they wanted to use in their level, and I think the end goal was something like this, where when I click, these platforms move, and the problem that they were having was if they clicked while the platform was moving back to its original position, it would start moving again. I also wanted to show I don't know what exactly they're using their platforms for. The way they explained it, I think it's something like this, where it launches you up in the air. And then this one, I just have it where it moves you across like that. So I will show a little bit of how this works. Whoops. First, let me get this here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that right? Okay, yeah. So first I'll start with the actual moving of the platform. So I will, well, I'll redo all of this. Yeah, I'll just redo all of this, except for these two. So these are going to be I'll just have it all be brand new here. So these blocks down here are group 3, and if you go in extra here, you could, if you want, mess with the stickiness of all of it. I don't want to mess with that. So it's just going to be group 3, nothing else, nothing special with these blocks. And then I have here move group 3, and it's going to move up by 30, and I have it moving really quick, so that way it launches the player up in the air. Same with this one. This one is just moving it back down to its original spot, and I have it taking a little bit longer, and this time I added an easing to it so it looks a little more lifelike, I guess. And then same with this one. This affects group 7. That's just these blocks right here. They're group 7. So when I jump, the idea is that when I jump, these platforms move around, but right now I don't have anything tied to it, so they just move on their own. So what I want to do is move it back here, but what I'll do is give these group 4, and I'll make them both spawn trigger, multi-trigger. Then I will add a spawn trigger that activates them. So spawn group 4, and the important thing is I want it to be spawn ordered, because, and I can show you in a second here. I'll show you if I don't have that spawn ordered, it'll just activate all these at once. Well, these need to be, sorry. Spawn trigger, multi-trigger, group 4, spawn 4. It didn't actually activate them all at once. That's weird. But for the actual event thing, for the jumping thing to work, you do want it to be spawn ordered, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'll have this be spawn trigger, multi-trigger. Then, now that I do have it spawn ordered, I want it to be right here. And I'll give the spawn trigger group 5. Then I will give the event, on event, and instead of doing normal jump, I think it's better to do jump push. This basically means whenever you click the jump button, then it'll happen. So if I'm already in the air and I click, then it happens. Instead of just, if I had it as normal jump, I could be holding, and then every time the player bounces, it'll activate this. I think it just feels better to have it be when you click. And then I also want this as spawn trigger, multi-trigger, and it will activate group 5, which is the group of this spawn trigger. Now, since I want this event to be on at first, I will spawn the event with nothing else. I'll just have it start. So I need this event to be group 6. And I'll have the spawn start at the start of the game. So to recap what we have so far, at the start of the game, this spawn trigger activates this event trigger, which states that whenever the player clicks or pushes the jump button, it activates group 5. This spawn trigger is group 5, and what it does is it spawns these move triggers, which makes the platforms move. But there's a couple problems with that, as you'll see in a second here. So I click, It seems hunky-dory at first, but watch what happens when I click really fast. I do that, and I think that's what the commenter was having an issue with. So I'll show you how to fix that, and it'll make sense in a second. It'll make sense why I gave this its own special group here, because what I want to do is when I jump, I activate group 5, and I want to immediately disable the jumping control so I can't spam jump. So I'll disable group 6, which is the event trigger, and I'll make it spawn trigger multi-trigger. So now, as soon as I jump, it turns off the event, so I can't make this event happen anymore until the event is done. And to make that happen, this is why I had a spawn order, because I can have this follow a sequence. So I'll give this group 4 and make it spawn trigger multi-trigger. Now, what group 4 does is it has these things move, and then after they're done moving, well, it also disables my event. Then after these are done moving, it re-enables the event. So this is what it looks like. And you see if I spam here, it doesn't work. It has to reset. And then as a little bonus, I was trying to get a horizontal platform to move, and I found that when I stepped on the platform like this, when I stepped on the platform here and jumped, I was like, okay, well, that's not very helpful. How do I get the player to stick to it? And I don't know if this is the correct way to do it or not, but this block here, it's in the trigger section, I think. Yeah, here it is. It's this block right here. So I just went to it, and the toggle block, that's what it's called. When you click inside of the toggle block, it'll activate a group, it was used in the tower levels where you pick up the bomb. I don't know where else it was used, but you go over to the bomb and you click, and the player will pick up the bomb, and they use the toggle block to make that happen. But I just have it so it doesn't do anything. But if you check the box claim touch, it'll disable jumping. So you can just place this block somewhere and put claim touch, and then your player can't jump when it's inside of that block. So I just did that here. So and that's why I had this also as jump push instead of normal jump, because if I push jump there and I don't jump, it won't activate this event. So I just used that as a way to make the player stick to that block, and it worked out, I think. Like, I click and he doesn't jump, but then I can jump like when the thing is done. So that's how you do that. I hope this made sense. I tried to make it from scratch and then kind of tried to explain how it works at the end. And then this is all just camera junk. If anyone in the comments wants me to make a video on it, I could. But I thought would be a cool idea is if I did some kind of, like, I made my own platformer level from scratch kind of, and I just will make like, part 1, and it's just me working on it a little bit. And, I could try to show off some of the controls. I don't know. There's a lot of different people who play this game who are at different levels of editing. Like, some people probably would have been able to do this pretty easy. Some people can't. Some people don't know how all the triggers work. It just kind of depends on how much experience you have with all of this. So just leave a comment, and I'll try to get to the comments that I could address. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, subscribe, and that's it.